Hey, it's me, your Witcher from the School of the Boar here, and today I wanted to start a new playthrough of The Witcher 3. The rules of the playthrough are pretty simple. I will begin my new save file on Death March and enemy upscaling, which means that all enemies that are supposed to be a lower level than I am actually will match my level. I can use potions, signs, bombs, my fists, and the crossbow. There's no decoctions allowed and no swords allowed. And well, those are the rules of the playthrough. I'm still debating if I'm allowed to use Witcher gear, since I know that the Griffith armor can be broken, and signs are gonna be the main source of damage in my playthrough. But throughout this video I'm gonna only use the first armor, so well, let's see. And with that out of the way, let's begin. After waking up, we talked to Vesemir about my dreams and hopes for this playthrough. But we were suddenly interrupted by some ghouls in the first battle of the run. This battle settled my yet to perfect strategy, dodging and using Igni. Ghouls are not a good match to start with, since they regenerate and there were like 6 of them. After dying for the first time, I opted for my second perfected strategy, which was running. Although since I'm a silly boar with no sense of direction, I ran the wrong side of the map, only noticing by the out of the world notification. We corrected that, and on the way back we saw how Vesemir was handling those ghouls. After running for a while, the ghouls despawned and we went back to collect the crystal skull and roach. We arrived to an inn to ask information about Yennefer, and after this old woman asked me to kill a griffin for free, I shame her for asking. She gave me 4 pieces of roasted chicken after I saved his cousin, and now she expects that I killed the griffin for free? Nah, lady. I went to talk to this merchant, Gunther Odin. Strangely, he knew I was looking for Yennefer. I asked him how did he know, and then I remembered that damn Dandelion became famous by making ballads of my romantic and personal life. Gunther gave me a lead on where could I find more information about my queen. He stood up and disappeared. Shame. Weird stuff aside, he was a pretty chill dude. I hope to see him again. I took these pieces of junk out of my bag and tried to make my way to the Nilfgaardian guard post to ask for more information about Yennefer, but as soon as I went out, some locals did not approve that my hair was white and tried to teach me that black hair was superior. I responded by mentally handicapping one of them, and then proceeded to show them why white hair was superior. In this fight, my trusty steed Roach gave me a masterful assist by knocking one of them, and then I finished them up. After displaying our teamwork, I hopped on Roach and got out of there. On my way to the guard post, I run into a place of power. Finding all of them will become a part of my long-term strat to advance smoothly on this game. Then, we'd fight what will become my most hated monster in the video, the Wraiths. Killing these guys takes a lot of time, and I have to be aware that they are not in their immortal state, since I cannot spare stamina on putting yarn traps to get it out of it. I know I don't have to kill it. I can just run away. I already have the skill point that the place of power gave me. But no, this was personal. When I was just a little boar, on my first time playing the game, I thought I had to kill it. I was just a kid, and it almost made me quit the game. From then, I swore vengeance on those pixels. So now, every time I play the game, I make sure to go out of my way to kill it. After hitting it way too many times with Igni, we managed to make him disappear into the crypt. We grabbed the skill point and then we made ourselves inside the crypt to finish him up. And we abused of Igni with him. After the battle, I decided to loot the place and use my skill point in the ability Melting Fire to start doing more damage. I finally arrived to the guard post, and we were introduced to the main theme of the game, of nothing being free, and start the change of overly absurd favors in order to get information. The guards recognized me as a witcher and sent me to meet their boss. He may or may not know where Yennefer is, but he cannot tell me because it's a military secret. And of course that baddie must be a military secret. We agree that he will tell me where she is in exchange for killing the Griffith. I reluctantly agree, since doing this meant that I will fulfill that old hag request in the inn. Before killing the Griffith, I went ahead and took the remaining places of power in White Orchard to have the extra skill points and managed to max my melting armor skill to get more damage and stamina regen. We headed back to start the quest by talking with the hunter, but apparently he was not home, so I had to track him down, and after helping him with some dogs, he took me to the place I needed to go, and in the process I leveled up, opening a new skill slot for me, and I opted for Exploding Shield. I thought it was going to be a good idea, but to be honest, I barely used Quen. Then we head to the herbalist and, well, she told me how to get the herb, where could I find it, and on the way there we find this old lady missing a pan, so we search for it. Then we jump into the water, grab the herb, and went back to tell Vesemir that we had a Griffith contract to do. I was nervous about the Griffith fight, since it was the first boss fight in the game, and didn't know what to expect. But we arrived to the place, and Vesemir gave me the only weapon I can use in the run, but quickly realized I will never use it again. After we waited, the Griffith arrived, and the battle began. I don't know why I was so scared of this fight. Like, it was okay. I think I did pretty good. So yeah, I chopped off the head of the Griffith, and then I went to collect my bounty. Upon arriving to the guard post, I noticed that my man Geralt was about to be whipped for some reason. That didn't sit well with me, so I acted offended, but you know, at the end I am a bore, so I took the extra cash and my rightful information about Yennefer. I used the extra cash to buy my best buddy Roach a new style, and for him to stop being naked. After all, he deserves it. I went back to report to Vesemir, and as soon as we were leaving, something magical happened. This lady over here. She grabbed the old hag and beat the shit out of her. These guys were not happy that Vesemir stopped her, and you know, I get it. I do get it, but I have to stand by Vesemir. So we proceed to brutally murder all of them, and I swear I didn't use the sword. It was not me. I tried to approach to my new hero and express that I was a fan, but she was not happy with me. I think it was because I have white hair. Damn. With all that happened, Nilfgaardian police was pretty efficient in this land, because as soon as we ended the brawl, they were already on site. And you know, we tried to explain that we did, and oh my god, it's her, my queen! Jesus Christ, I've been looking for you! I tried to be a romantic gentleman and ask her for a walk, but my woman here was on a mission. She explained to me that Emperor Emir wanted to talk with me about a mission he had, and that she couldn't refuse, and if she couldn't refuse, then, well, I have no choice, I have to go. Vesemir, being the real bro he is, told me that he has to go, and left me alone with Yennefer. On our way to the castle, we were chased by, I can only assume, were all the men that were chasing after her, but don't worry, she used a quick spell of we're just friends and took care of them. Upon arriving to the castle, I met with my favorite Nilfgaardian, Morvan Boris. Honestly, I don't know if this guy is good or bad. I haven't finished the books yet, and I don't even know if he appears in the books yet, but I just know that I love how he talks. I don't know, just hear him.
Morvran Vorix, commander of the Alba division.
I don't know if it's only a me thing, but I love this guy. We met with Dooney, and he demands us to find Ciri for him. I tell him to fuck off, but at the end I agree because, yeah, of course, it's Ciri, I will do it, but I will not do it for you, you ungrateful hedgehog. We met with my queen to ask her about the leads regarding Ciri, and she tasked me 3 things. First, I had to go to Velen, as she was supposed to be there. Then I have to go to Novigrad, as she was seen there. And then I have to meet Yennefer in Skelliger to further investigate. I grabbed some good looking armors, and then we arrive to No Man's Land. At this point in the video, I lost like 40 minutes of recording, but you know, nothing interesting happened. We met with the Informer, we were properly introduced to the Wild Hunt, and then we learned that Ciri had a scuffle with a witch, and we learned about the Bloody Baron. I decided to first investigate about the witch just to realize that it was Keira Metz. We talked to her, and I'm ashamed that I don't have the recording of the bathtub. Shame. But yeah, she explained that an elf came by asking for a potion in exchange for something, and that he may be connected to Ciri, we don't know. So she agreed to lead us there, and we started the Wandering in the Dark quest. I forgot to mention that in the last footage, I decided to opt for changing Exploding Shield and level up my Yearn ability until I got the Yearn turret to do more damage. Yeah, it takes time to put it and you have to time it well, but when you put it helps a lot. It staggers enemies and does a lot of damage. The first section of this dungeon was pretty annoying to me because we only fight wraiths, and as I already told you, I hate wraiths. So yeah, it was not fun. Especially because Keira for some reason decided to not follow me, so I didn't have a companion to fight the wraiths, and that happened like 3-4 times. It got bugged, so, and of course I died like 4 times, but we powered through the cave. And we find this projection of the elf who was in fact working with Ciri, and they were supposed to meet here but failed to do so. So we went ahead and entered more into the cave. We have to fight a golem, which was pretty easy. I just let him to beat up Keira, and then I just wait and nick him in the back. And after a while we defeated him and moved forward. We managed to catch up with the Wild Hunt. Oh, I forgot, the Wild Hunt is here. And they were not happy with seeing us, so they left a lot of portals which we have to close with. This battle was not hard, but it was tedious. I had limited space to dodge, and there were a lot of enemies. So after a while we managed to beat this section. Keira tried to flirt with me, and then we arrived to the battle with Johnny the Guardsman. For this battle I thought it was going to be like the Griffith battle, that it was going to be like kind of hard but enjoyable or something, but well, Johnny was a joke.
Fight back! Fight back!
Johnny's hounds were actually more challenging than him. He staggers with anything, and that gave me a lot of time to put my Yearn traps and then harass him with Igni, so we just repeated that process until we beat him. We listened to the final message of the elf to Ciri, just to learn that the witches that she was having trouble with was actually the witches of Crookback Bog and not Keira. Keira knew where they were, so she told me where to find them. We got out of the cave, and Keira told me that I was the manliest man alive and asked me to come by her house because she has a special request for me. After that we did just that, and we went to Keira, but not for the quest. I actually want to brew some potions and bombs as we are going to need them. We make our way to the Bloody Baron's castle, and because I decided not to fight these guys in the inn, they were pretty chill with me and actually introduced me to the Bloody Baron as soon as possible. I talked to the Baron, and he told me that he has a story for me about Ciri. He told me how she was in the woods, save a little girl, and then fight a werewolf, and ended up in her castle in his care. But out of nowhere, he stopped the story, and I know where this was going to. I have to do days and days of tracks for a 2-minute story. He wanted me to track his missing family, so I told him that I needed to go do some investigation in their room, and then I will start to finding them. In the room, I saw signs of a battle, and then I found this amulet and went to ask the Baron about it. He told me that he has no idea that there was a fight there, and that I should talk to the Peller, as he was most likely to give the amulet. But first, I wanted to do some side questing, and in our exploration we found this guy that I think is a reference to Don Quixote. He told me that he has to fight me in order to honor her maid. We told him we would, and after taking half his health, he cowered like a bitch and told me he doesn't want to fight anymore, and that I was lucky that I told him to fuck off, and if I cross paths again with him, I'm going to kill him. And you know what? I think I will see him again. We then found a quest on lifting a curse from a house, so we had to talk to a lady, which at first was pretty calm and everything, but I couldn't talk with her, and out of nowhere, she burst in crying, which I found really funny, and she explained to us that she was a noble lady that fell in love with a hunter or something like that, and she lost everything, so asked us if we could go and lift out the curse, so we went there. Upon arriving, I found that the house was full of traps, which was weird. Spirits and monsters don't put traps, so I thought it was a setup and decided to look more around. I went into this shed and found more traps. I disarmed them and then used this ladder to go up just to find a witcher sword and a bed. I found it weird, and then I saw Leto, which I thought at first. I was really surprised to see him, because this was the first time I was doing the quest in any playthrough, and I didn't know he appeared in the game. So I thought at first he was a Doppler or something like that, but after talking for a while, it was actually him, and he explained that he was being hunted down by some people that betrayed him and asked our help to help him. I of course helped him, and we took care of the guys that went there to kill him. The fight was pretty easy, especially because we just unlocked the Griffith's cool technique that gave me sign intensity, and after we finished them up, Leto told me that he was going after the other guys that betrayed him and asked us if we wanted to help. We tagged along because I wanted to see where these quests go. We quickly found them and we told them that they are rat traders and proceed to kill them. One of them managed to survive and told us where to find his boss, and we arrived there and Leto was not happy about it. He told us not to interfere in this fight, and that no matter what happens, we should not interfere in this fight. The leader of the group went out and let him start talking about how he was going to chop his hand and feed him to the dogs. The leader got scared and called all his men, and a brawl between Leto and the guys started. I thought it was gonna be easy work for Leto, but as soon as the battle started, I went and watched how it was going, and oh my god, they killed my favorite Ninja Turtle. I was furious with them, and as soon as they saw me, they knew they were dead. We started the fight, and Roach almost killed me. In between my dodges, I hop on in for a second, and I almost got hit with the mace. I finished them up, and then start mourning the loss of Donatello. But something was not right, so I dragged him into the house and waited for a while, and after a couple of hours, he suddenly wake up. He has this stupid plan on faking his death to be dragged to the leader of the leader and kill him, but I told him that was a stupid idea, and if I was not there, he was gonna be beheaded, and told him to stop being a crybaby and go to Claremore. This was actually pretty nice because I didn't know that he was a guy that could help you in the final battle, and I am excited to see if he actually appears in the battle. So yeah, we will see it. Sorry for the change in armor, but yet again I lost some of my footage, and I had conveniently a new file that I was starting that was in this point in the game, and I decided to replay it in it. But I swear I didn't cheat, I do everything. This was on Death March, and I think I had a pretty cool build, so if you wanted to know what it is, let me know. And yeah, I decided to free first the spirit in the tree, because I wanted to see if this interaction actually worked, that if you free the spirit before you go to Crookback Bog, they will not turn Anna into a water hag, and you will have to skip everything like doing the quest and just speak to the crones. And I have never done this quest, so I wanted to see how it was. So after grabbing the bones, the feathers, and the horse, we went back and freed the spirit. And we will also be coming back to this save file, as I lost some other footage later in the game, and I'm planning to replay it in this one. We started to make our way to the swamp when I suddenly sensed that something wanted to fight with me. I look around and it was a wyvern. I find it to be the perfect moment to start integrating the bombs into my fighting style, and after defeating it, we arrived to the village swamp. I talked to some kids and asked them if they knew anything about Ciri, and I was interrupted by yet again another old woman ruining my fun, telling me that I was
not allowed.
I'm always being baffled by the idea of this old grandma telling me to fuck off. She's in the most dangerous place in the world, I think, and she's telling a witcher to fuck off. I know that if Lambert was here, he will just beat her up and take the information from her, but Geralt is a good guy, so he has to play along with it. I had to follow her into the shed because she took the only kid that was useful for me, and told me yet again that I was
not allowed.
I don't know why Geralt pulls up with this, but we went out and talked to the kids and agreed that I will play hide and seek with them in exchange for helping me out with the hag. So after playing hide and seek with them, I managed to get into the house and have a little quality time with my favorite child. He told me that he knew a guy called Johnny that knew about the Ashen girl that I was asking for, so I had to go and find him. I hop again back into my other save file because I lost the footage again. But we found Johnny and he couldn't talk. No, he couldn't give us any information about Ciri. So we first had to help him out searching for his boys. We followed him through the swamp and fight some enemies, just to learn at the end that we already have the bottle containing his boys. We gave it to him and he could speak now. He tried to scam me for doing this, but at the end he was a good boy and helped me out. He managed to convince the old lady to let me talk to the crones, and they told me they had information about Ciri, but I had to do something first, of course. So they gave me a dagger, and since I already did this quest, I only went to the village, talked to the guy, he gave me his ear, and I went back to the crones. I placed the offering, and I suppose this was Tinder or something because I got catfished by them. In the painting they look nice, but in real life, well, no. But they gave me the information it was promised. They told me how they find her in the swamp unconscious and took her into her care, but they were planning to eat part of her and then give it to the wild hunt, and then she escaped. That didn't sit well with me, so I told them that I was going to look for Ciri, bring her back, and we will kill them. I started to do some work on the Baron's quest and arrived to the house of the Peller. In front of it, there was a couple of people that were eager to learn about tea and herbs, but the Peller was not fond of them. He didn't want to teach them. So I talked to them and gave him a recipe for the tea, and they went on their way. We talked with the Peller and he agreed to help me with finding the daughter and wife of the Baron. But first, I needed to find his goat, as she was missing and he was pretty sad about it. He gave me his favorite bell to ring so that she could follow me, and I went to look after it. While looking for it, I went and killed the bear since I already know where he was, and it was going to be a pain to drag the goat and killing the bear at the same time. We finally found the Peller's lover, the goat, and dragged her back to the Peller. He made some weird shenanigans and told me that he saw some violence and a miscarriage. So we added the dots and we went to find the Baron. We arrived in the castle just to note that it was on fire. Some of the locals told me that the Baron got drunk and set it on fire. I confronted him about being an abuser and for wasting my time. He got mad at me, so I have to calm him down in the most rational way I could think of.
We need to talk.
Then the Baron told us what really happened on that night. Apparently, he got into a fight with his wife, and he doesn't remember much because he was dead drunk, but when he woke up the next morning, his wife and daughter were there no more. Only bloody sheets and his dead newborn. It was a truly tragic story, and I tried to sympathize with the guy, although he was a pretty bad one. The fact that he had to watch that and had to bury it, it must have been really hard. I told him what we learned from the pillar, and that her unborn child could help us to find his wife and daughter. But first we have to see where it was buried and perform a ritual. I opted to try to transform it into a lubricant and then search for the girls, but it was harder than I thought. When we arrived to the grave, we discovered that it was empty. That meant that the baby had become into a botchling and we had to decide either to kill it or to try and transform it into a lubricant. I opted for the latter and oh boy, my path of misery on trying to make it a lubricant was, well, took me a long time. The raids made a comeback on being the most annoying monster in the game, as I died way too many times trying to do this. In one of my tries I was desperate, so I just started running through the first encounter with the raids, and I didn't know if that you went like too far from the Baron. The botchling just goes on a rage and becomes a monster, which makes sense. It had never happened to me before, so I tried to fight it, and I almost killed him, but in the end I ended up dying because of raids. But after trying more times, we finally had our run. Dodging in circles and using Igni was obviously the way to do this, but it was pretty hard. I actually had to change my grip into a claw grip in the controller to do this, to optimize my dodging and firing, but yeah, at the end we managed. After that we started the ritual of the botching being transformed into lubricant, and in my opinion one of the most hard scenes to watch in the whole Witcher. The Baron talking to his dead daughter about how he did not embrace her and that she died because of him. It's honestly, for me, one of the hardest things to watch in the whole Witcher. We buried her, and then we waited for 24 hours until the ritual was completed, so that the spirit of the baby became a lubricant and could guide us to where the daughter and wife of the Baron were. The lubricant guided me to the house of this fisherman, so we entered and talked to him. He actually knew them and was the one that helped him escape, so he told us that the daughter of the Baron was in Oxenford with his brother and that the wife was missing because she was attacked while they were riding and a monster took her. He explained that while riding in the forest, the wife of the Baron got a sudden pain in her arm and some markings were start to appearing. And then a monster jumped out of the forest and took her into the swamp. He tried to show us how the marks were in the arm, and we realized that we have seen these marks. These marks were on the Lady of the Swamp. That old hag that was giving us trouble back there, she was actually the wife of the Baron. We thank him for being the first guy that actually gave us information without asking any favor in return, and then we head to Oxenford to see if the daughter of the Baron was okay. When we arrived to Oxenford, the gates were closed and we needed a pass. I honestly thought we can only use Axie and get through it, but I couldn't, so I proceeded to just jump into the water in front of them and swim into the city. We found the daughter of the Baron, and we told her that his father was looking for her, but she didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore, and that he has new friends and a new life here, so she's not gonna come with us. We report to the Baron and tell him about his daughter, and that he doesn't have to get his hopes up because she's not coming back and she's not planning on it. So, with that information given, he started telling me the rest of the story about Ciri. But as soon as he started and told me how Ciri was with them for a while, he stopped. He wanted first that we tell him about his wife, so I tell him about how she made a pact with the crones, and that the miscarriage was due for the pact that was debilitating her body and made it lose her child. He was horrified by that, but then he proceeded to tell us the rest of the story about Ciri. They were racing and they were being attacked by a monster that grabbed the Baron and took him away. Ciri was worried that he will get killed, so she used her powers to track them, kill the monster, and then she had to flee because she knew that the Wild Hunt will be pursuing him. After he finished the story of Ciri, the Baron started trauma dumping on me about how this matter of her wife and the daughter was not black and white, and that it was more gray than it seemed. Apparently, the love of the Baron and his wife was love at first sight. So, in the first meeting that they had, he asked her to marry him, and she agreed. But due to the period of time, the Baron was away in a lot of fighting and wars, and she was left alone in the house with her daughter. She grew bored of it and cheated on the Baron. When he came back, his wife was no more there. She had fled with another guy, and that, well, of course, upsets the Baron. He tracks her down and finds them. He was so angry that he killed the guy and dragged her back to her home. Since that day, she tried to make the Baron's life a misery and always tick him off in the hopes that he will hit her so that he will feel bad. Or, well, that's what I understood. In the end, I feel like the Baron is not a great character. Actually, I am not condoning his acts, but in the end of the quest, he shows true remorse about what he did, and that she truly loves his wife and daughter, and we learn that he was a more profound and complicated character that is trying to live with his past and atone for it. We got interrupted by this little fellow over here that looks just like me, well, since I am a boar. And with that, we finish with the Baron's main quest. Before we leave Belen, I wanted to do some things in the area, but first I needed some money, so I went and killed some of my comrades for it. With that blood money, I buy Roach a new saddle, and now he looks super cool. Just look at him. He's my best bud and he deserves it. We started the Tower of the Mice quest as Kira Metz asked us if we could leave the curse there because she can't do it. We agreed to it, and we quickly find out what was happening in the tower. Apparently there was a raid here, and one of the girls inside of the castle, I think the daughter of the owner, took a potion that left her paralyzed, and she died by some rodents eating her flesh, and then cursed the island because the love of her life didn't come to save her. We told the spirit that we can lift the curse and she can go on her merry way to the afterlife. So we grabbed her remains and went to the love of her life to give him the remains so that he could bury them. But we were bamboozled by the spirit of the lover because as soon as we went out, the spirit became a pesta and killed the guy. I tried to help him, but I couldn't, it was too late. On our way back, we talked with this all-powerful ancient god of the land, and then we met with Kira Metz and tell her that job's done. She explained it to me that in the tower there was a mage that was doing some research on the Catronian plague, and that she hoped that I burned down the laboratory. I told her that I didn't do that because I didn't see the point on it, and she was fine with it, but she wanted to ask me for another favor, which I agree. Apparently she missed one of her packages, and she asked me if I could go and retrieve it. On my way out, the peddler was waiting for me, and he asked me if I could help him with something. He will do a ritual and he needs protection, so he told me that he should meet me somewhere. I didn't put really much attention to it, but I told him I would do it, and that I will find him. We retrieved the package, and we noticed that we were bamboozled again because the contents of the package were not as Kira said. We confronted her and realized that she was gonna use that package to get another package, wink wink, and that if we wanted actually to participate, we should wait outside. We did so, and she told us she wanted to play a fairy tale with me and go on a romantic dinner and on a stroll and yada yada yada. So we did that. We were having a good time, and she wanted to play a game with me. She told me to close my eyes and count to 10, and I was afraid that as soon as I opened my eyes, she was gone. But I did it anyways. I started to count, and then I suddenly realized she was gone, just like the older woman in my life. But the difference between here and in real life is that here I can chase after them. So I did that, and when I find her, she actually was playing a game with me. She told me I win and that I deserve a prize. We did some stargazing and I felt pretty nice. It was fun. And then she whispered in my ear and knocked me out with a spell. Later I wake up with shame. I should have known. Who could ever love a witcher that is a boar? But I knew that if she did something like that, she was up to something. And I suddenly realized that Fike Isle was right in front of us, so I quickly realized that she was going for the notes of the Catronian plague and I had to stop her. My boar senses were right and she was just there. I confronted her, and when I told her that she used me, she just laughed at me and told me that I was a bore and that I don't deserve to be loved. I feel pretty bad about it. Then she told me her plan on using those notes to create a cure for the Catronian plague and use that as a bargaining chip to get a pardon from the king so that she could live happily in the city and not in the swamp. I told her that that was a stupid idea. They are being persecuted and they are gonna use that to make a bioweapon or something and kill a lot of people. And she's not gonna get the pardon. Instead, she is going to get killed or get into arrest. She finally agreed with me, and I told her to go to Karamora, and we ended up with Kiramet's quest. She hurt my feelings, and I swear I will never be bamboozled by another witch. I was going to make my way to Novigrad now, and then I suddenly realized that there were a lot of people in the island, which was weird because this was cursed. I went and searched to see what up with that, and I noticed that the peddler was there, and I opted to do the quest right now. So I helped the peddler. He told me that he was going to perform a ritual to dispel a spirit or something like that, but in the midst of the ritual, some monster could attack us, so I had to defend them. And just as he said, some drowners appeared and I took care of them quickly, and when the ritual was in the point of no return, some witch hunters appeared and tried to stop it. I decided to side with the peddler and kick the ass out of it. Well, we actually killed him. But yeah, he told me that blood was spit on the ritual and now some wraiths appear. Again. And I have to fight them with the peddler. The peddler was a real Chad. He was hitting the wraiths with his baton. And after we killed the wraiths, he told me that the ritual was failed and that we have to do something else. I told him I could go and do it. And I asked him if the ghost of him was his father. He felt guilty that his father died because of him or something like that, and the spirit was going after the peddler. I told him I could lift the curse, and he told me where the father was, well, his remains. So I went there, I burned them, and we finished that quest. Finally, we started to go to Novigrad, and in our way we grabbed the Griffith diagrams, because I am planning to using it in the future because of the sign intensity, but I'm still debating about it, you know. But yeah, with that, we finally arrived to Novigrad. I just wanted to finish this video by saying that I really like how it ended up. It's my first video ever made, and I didn't know how to edit a video or record voices or gameplay and find the music for it, but it was pretty fun. I am planning on doing a whole series with this theme, and if anyone watches it, let me know if you like it or not. But for now, this Witcher of the School of the Boar is out.